Hey everyone, welcome back to the Generation Y Conservative Show. Okay, this half hour is actually brought to you by Tar River Arms. Now, Tar River Arms is America's virtual gun store, the most convenient place in the world to shop for firearms. This is pretty cool. It's the first virtual gun store, making it easier and more comfortable than ever to purchase your firearm online. It's modernizing online firearms sales to accommodate the online generation and those who prefer brick and mortar experiences through 3D interactive experiences to view and inspect the gun you are purchasing, which is actually really cool. Now, I would actually encourage you to actually go and see these types of guns in person too through your local shop, but then compare prices. Maybe Tar River will actually beat their prices. There's weekly specials that eliminate shipping and broker fees. You order, you pick up, and there's no additional fees. There's great guns, great prices, and great service. Guess what? Just like Patriot Mobile, this is a veteran-owned and veteran-run business, which makes it something that you should definitely look into. Tar River Arms, you can actually find them at traguns.com. and tell them that the Generation Y Conservative from Mojo 50 sent you. Also coming soon, just so you know, layaway and consignment options are on track to be live, if not already. So go and check into that as well for layaway options. Also, in regards to guns, I save all this stuff for the same type of segment here. Gunbox. Head over to thegunbox.com, thegunbox.com. There's actually two different boxes that they're most interested in you checking out right now. The Gunbox 2.0 is the ultimate quick and accessible gun safe, ideal for securing your firearm when not carrying on your person. Its cutting-edge technology and innovative safety features provide peace of mind while storing your handgun on a nightstand, desk, countertop, or anywhere you might need fast access. With a simple swipe of a finger, press of a custom key code, or wave of an RFID card or fob, the Gunbox opens in seconds. And when you're facing something that you need to pull a gun on, seconds matter. The modern design and sleek lines not only make it a great addition to any space, but it's perfect reason to bring your everyday carry gun out from hiding in the closet or the basement safe. Asking yourself, will my concealed carry weapon fit into the Gunbox? The answer is yes, as the Gunbox fits most full-size handguns with room to spare for extra magazines, a blade, and other items you carry for protection. How about this one? The other one is actually called the Echo. Okay, the Gunbox Echo is ideal travel size handgun safe, perfect for those on the go, and has the latest technology to secure your firearm while giving you quick access. Just like the other one, it allows you access with the swipe of a finger, press of a key code, wave of a card or fob, and Echo unlocks in seconds. The Echo was engineered to be compact, but is still large enough to fit most full-size handguns. The internal audible alarm will sound if the unit is moved, bumped, or tampered with, giving you the peace of mind that your firearm is safe and secure. For added safety, attach the Echo to your bed frame, desk, or inside a vehicle with a security tether cable. This is actually kind of cool. The Echo is TSA approved and easily fits in your checked baggage. Its portable design makes transporting your firearm simple to and from home, the office, the shooting range, or anywhere you might need it, and also fits perfectly in any car, truck, RV, or boat. The Echo's internal rechargeable battery lasts up to 1 year on a single charge. The Gunbox Echo is affordable yet efficient and is the ultimate way to safeguard your family, secure your firearm, and defend your freedom. Why have a handgun for safety and protection if you can't get to it when you need to? And every second counts when you are trying to protect yourself and your family. All right, with this segment, I typically like to dedicate it to firearm-related stories, whether they're news stories or other things that are going on. Plus, we're going to get to the firearm review and spotlight video with Relic Hunter firing line. But the one thing I want to point out is on, let's see here, Saturday, June 8th of this year, from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m., at Relic Hunter Firing Line, which is 4671 Egypt Road in Copley, Pennsylvania. There's going to be a Second Amendment rally. Now, those speakers include myself, Joshua Prince, who's a Second Amendment rights attorney, Thomas Carroll, who's chairman of the Lehigh Valley Tea Party, Andrew Oliveira, who's a young Second Amendment Constitution activist. He's actually been on the show before as a co-host guest. Just out of high school, really smart kid, and he led a counter protest to the walkouts when the Parkland shooting incident occurred. So really sharp guy. And also Maureen Gorey, who is a Second Amendment rights supporter, NRA trainer, and Tea Party activist. She is actually the one who trained myself and my wife on proper procedures for carrying a handgun and shooting it at the range. Just by taking her 1 hour lesson, I think it was, I increased my target ability by, I would say, about 200%. It was amazing because there's just misconceptions on the way that you stand. Do you stand with your hands forward? Do you stand kind of like off to the side with your side facing and everything? How do you look? Do you look with your dominant eye down the sights? Those are all misconceptions or different ways of perceiving things, but someone like her who's NRA certified to train people with firearms will actually show you the right stance, the right way to look down the sights, and how to hold a firearm and quickly draw it on someone when you have to use it. And she'll be the first one to tell you that you should not pull a firearm unless you intend on shooting. You shouldn't pull it to threaten someone and hope that you don't have to use it. If you pull that firearm, you better be ready to also be pulling the trigger as soon as it comes up to your target as well. So you'll find that across the country, if there's 400 million firearms in the country, and statistically speaking, not that many crimes committed using a firearm, when 2/3 of those are wiped out in regards to them being suicides, it really narrows it down to the amount of gun violence that's actually committed here in the United States being pretty minimal, and not at the top of the list for most countries, by the way, as well. But I will be speaking at the event. There will also be Craig Stevens of the local radio station WAEB, who's on there as well. And I would encourage you to come out. There's going to be different things that I'm going to be talking about, but I want to get an idea of what maybe you want to hear about the Second Amendment, and maybe things that you want to be educated on, or things that you want to hear statistics about the U.S. compared to other countries around the world, and why gun control laws don't work, right? How we compare against England or Australia that instituted a gun ban and everything. So before we get into the Relic Hunter video, what I want to do is I want to show you a clip of my last speaking engagement there on the Second Amendment, and then I have a question for you after that, so let's take a look.
Well, I'm here to talk to you about a subject that a lot of people will tell you is outdated, old-fashioned, and not even relevant in today's society. And they would say the same thing about the Bible, but they're wrong on both fronts. I'm here to talk to you and inform you on some things in regards to the Constitution. Our founding documents included the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution and Bill of Rights were written with weight to every single word. After multiple attempts between Jefferson and Adams and others to get the language right, they came up with something revolutionary, knowing full well that it would put a death warrant on their heads. Our Constitution is what makes America, America. It is the document that separates and sets apart our country from all the others. Yes, we have our faults. I think we need to admit those sometimes. We continue to have them. But as a country, we have and will overcome those because of the setup of our system and the tenacity of our citizens. How is our Constitution different than other countries? Well, unlike other countries, instead of listing our rights, ours was molded by minds with the ever-present tyranny looming over their shoulders. Instead of listing our rights, they listed things that the government cannot do to you. And I think that's very important. It binds the hands of government from getting out of control and becoming a tyrannical regime. Not many people learn about that angle in school, though, if it's even learned at all. But now that you know, I want you to take a listen to some of these. The First Amendment. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the free speech or of the press or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Congress shall make no law regarding these. This is a limitation on the government, not us. The Second Amendment. We can get a round of applause for that. That's why we're here for today. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Be infringed by who? Let's hear it, guys. Come on, get a little bit more interactive. The government. The Fourth Amendment, the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall be issued, but upon probable clause, supported by oath or affirmation, particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. Who would search without a warrant or seize property? The government again, right? And so on and so on. You read through the Constitution. These are all limits on our government, which is the exact opposite of what you see in most countries around the world, which is telling you what your rights are. This is telling our government what they can't do to us. And I think once people start realizing that and rereading our founding documents, they gain a whole new appreciation for what America was actually built upon. So let's head back to why we're actually here today, and that is the Second Amendment. Who is a well-regulated militia? Raise your hand. Everybody raise your hand. Every single one of us is part of that well-regulated militia. Every able-bodied man, woman, and child in this country that is able to responsibly handle a firearm is there as part of the militia to keep this government in check. And I would say for hunting too and other purposes as well. So is it for hunting purposes? Yes. Is it for personal defense? Yes. But it shall not be infringed. So it doesn't matter what your reason is for a firearm. If you have one, it's your right to have one.
That's right. That's right. Yes.
One of the best questions that you get from people, especially on the left, is, well, why do you need an AR-15? Well, who the heck are you to tell me what I do or don't need for self-defense? It doesn't matter.
America,
Shall not be infringed. So, is it for defense against a tyrannical government?
Yes.
Absolutely. It's amazing how we hear daily that the Trump administration is a fascist dictatorship, and yet they fight for our firearms to be taken away and only used by this said regime. By the way, the Pennsylvania Constitution is arguably better than the federal level. Article 1, Section 21 of the Pennsylvania State Constitution states, the right of citizens to bear arms in defense of themselves and the state shall not be questioned. A little bit stronger language there for you. For decades and centuries, we have had people fighting for their constitutional rights, the women's suffrage movement, the civil rights movement, to be equal to their fellow man. And for the first time in our history, we have people fighting for their rights to be taken away. Think about how crazy that is. So let's go down that road for a second, though, so each and every one of you can realize just how dangerous the loss of our Second Amendment would be to our nation. If the Second Amendment is gone, what is to stop any of the other amendments being stripped from our Constitution?
Nothing.
Exactly. I like this guy's passion. Put him up front. If you enjoy and appreciate protesting events like this, you are taking advantage of the First Amendment. If that is taken from us, your right to comment on, criticize, or otherwise speak freely is reliant on the whim of your party being in power. And I can guarantee you that the political pendulum will always swing, and those in power will always call for the silencing of others on the other side of the aisle. So yes, I am outright telling you right now that the Second Amendment grants us, as citizens, the opportunity to hold our government accountable to protect the rest of the Bill of Rights. It is the only amendment that defends all the other amendments. Dean mentioned this before, there are upwards of 310 million firearms in the United States, and less than 1% of them are ever used in a violent crime. As a matter of fact, the majority of gun deaths are from suicides, which feeds right into our argument that there is something wrong with people, not the firearms.
That's right.
How about this? Many of you, I'm sure, on social media and other places have been seeing graphs that people have been posting up a lot in regards to how bans on guns work in other countries, Australia, New Zealand, Ireland. And what it says on those graphs is that when instituted, the gun deaths go down. I'm going to give you a little teaser here. It's actually true. The gun deaths do go down, but for obvious reasons. There's less guns in the society. What they don't tell you, though, is deceiving. What they don't show you is that the overall homicide rate increases after these gun bans. And the reason for that is because you have emboldened the criminals to go after people that are now defenseless. And whether they're using guns, it doesn't matter. They're still killing. They're using some other type of object to do this. It all sounds so depressing. It's enough to get you angry. I know there's anger here today, and that's why we're all here. But I'm not angry, okay? I'm actually stand here full of hope. While millennials are a mixed bag that lean more towards the socialist Bernie Sanders mentality, it is the next generation after that you should be focusing on. You see, the left has overplayed their hand the last couple years. These children have grown up watching their older siblings and parents wearing pussy hats and throwing bigger temper tantrums than them, rioting and screaming at the sky, all just over election results. They see the insanity of walking on eggshells to not offend people, but realize everything offends the easily offendable. They've seen the demonization of the family and marriage and divorce rates of over 60% today. Believe it or not, there's actually multiple articles being written by worried media members about how conservative this next generation actually is. Even shining examples like our local Easton High School student, Andrew, who spoke earlier. And that gives me a lot of hope. But you should be able to handle these counter arguments when you come in contact with people in society. Because it is facts, statistics, and the Constitution ultimately, and you as a citizen, that will win this battle for the Second Amendment, not feelings. So thank you very much, guys.
Okay, so after seeing that, I really went into and dug into the importance of the Constitution of the United States and how the Second Amendment basically protects all of our other amendments, and that without it, by taking it out, that you're basically opening the door for our politicians to remove every other amendment and right that we have that's guaranteed to us through our Constitution as well. Because once you take away the ability for us to fight our government, what else do you have left to do besides yell at them for taking away those other rights that we have? So that's one of the things I was talking about then. This year, I'd like to change that up a little bit, and I'm wondering if you could leave comments in the comment section and let me know what you would like to hear. Now, even if you're not able to make it, if you're across the country or something like that, let me know what you would be most interested in hearing about in regards to the Second Amendment, because I will be able to post that video for you, and I'll probably spotlight that as content in the show once that time arrives then as well. So in the comments, let me know what you want to know in regards to the Second Amendment, whether it's comparing against other countries, about the logistics of it. The lawyer will be speaking there and everything as well. In regards to maybe why it's important, why is it still relevant today after hundreds of years ago when the Founding Fathers implemented that? What does a militia mean, right? These are all things that I would be happy to explain, but if I throw everything together into one speech, it could get convoluted and drag on. So I don't want to do that either. But listen, the next thing up here is actually the Relic Hunter Firing Line and Generation Y Conservative Show collaboration on taking a look at and spotlighting the Smith & Wesson revolver. So let's take a look.
Hi, this is Gerard with Relic Hunter Firing Line. Today we're going to look at and shoot the Smith & Wesson 642, one of the original and still best concealed carry revolvers. The 642 is a 5-shot J-frame gun and has smooth lines and is hammerless on the outside, so that when you conceal carry this and you go to draw it, you're not going to snag on anything with your clothing. It's made specifically for that. The grip is a little smaller, but you get used to it. This gun is, I wouldn't say it's accurate at like a great distance, but this is made strictly for self-protection with, I believe it's a 1.875 inch barrel. The trigger is a fairly heavy trigger on it, like most revolvers, and that's made because revolvers don't come with a safety. So you want to make sure that when you're pulling the trigger, you mean to. Let's go shoot it.
Okay, Gerard, we have a different one today. So what do you got?
This is the Smith & Wesson Airweight 38. It's a J-frame. It's a number 642 is the model, which has no hammer on it. It's an internal hammer. This back in the day was the go-to concealed carry firearm for 30 years, I would say, and still is very popular today with a lot of people. It is strictly a self-defense firearm. This is not something you go to the range and have fun with. It is for, up close.
Okay. One of the things that you had said, because of there being no hammer and things to get caught on, is that typically with revolvers, it has a harder trigger to pull.
Exactly.
And everything. So
the safety on a revolver, I always say, is the trigger
Safety.
pull. From the factory, it's going to be more pound pressure than a standard trigger. So this model, no external hammer. If you have it in a pocket, you're going to be able to draw it and not get it caught on anything, hopefully. It shouldn't, because this is all smooth.
yeah. Awesome. Okay, let's try it out.
All right. Oh, nice. So, Chris, what did you think?
So one thing I mentioned before I got started there, that I have surprisingly never shot a revolver before. So I actually had a lot of fun with it. It went a little quicker because you're used to a full magazine and
Yes. You've only got 5 shots.
Exactly, yeah. So as soon as I got to the end, I was like, uh-oh, I think something's... But it wasn't, everything was fine. It was actually, I just ran out. But this one, is it typical that with revolvers that you have to aim lower? Or is that just compensation?
It's probably the
for
distance
gun?
we're shooting at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I think one of these 2 shots here was one of my first ones, and I started aiming down here, and that's when I started hitting right outside the center there. So as long as you know where you have to compensate for, it was really nice to shoot. I liked it a lot.
Excellent. And again, everything on the target.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. All right. Thank you.
Thanks for watching today at Relic Hunter Firing Line. If you mention that you saw this on the Gen Y Conservative podcast, stop on in if you're interested in one of these firearms, and we're sure to give you a discount. Thank you very much.
All right, everyone, I hope that you enjoyed that video, and if you're interested in the Smith & Wesson revolver, you can go to Relic Hunter Firing Line in Copley, Pennsylvania, and see Gerard, the owner, or any of his staff, and let them know that the Generation Y Conservative sent you there. You'll get a discount on the gun. You can also probably get discounts at the firing range just by mentioning that you're a listener of the Generation Y Conservative show on Mojo 50 Radio. When we come back, we're going to be talking about the Mueller report. Okay, so we'll get more into that after these commercials.